On the record in cause number 329978, the case is styled the state of Texas versus Joseph Billy Champagne. Mr. Champagne, would you please raise your right hand? Champagne, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir. I do.
Okay, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Champagne?
How you doing today, Mr. Holmes?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Champagne, the information in this case alleges that on or about April 29th of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespassing. Mr. Champagne, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir, I do.
And to this charge, Mr. Champagne, how did you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Champagne, I have before me a document that is titled the misdemeanor plea admonishments. On page 2 of this document, Mr. Champagne, there are a set of initials on the line that's next to a box that's checked nola contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir, I did.
On page 2 of the same document, Mr. Champagne, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Did you sign this document?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is titled trial court certification, the defendant's right of appeal, there is a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Did you place your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Champagne, there are two boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Champagne, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir, you did.
You didn't understand everything in these documents.
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me state's exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, will you be offering state's exhibit number 1 and state's exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit?
Yes, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, no objection. State's exhibit number 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Vasquez, you've advised and counseled Mr. Champagne. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Champagne, your attorney, Mr. Vasquez, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Champagne, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of no contest and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Give me an extra one. And Mr. Well, state, do we have a plea bargain agreement in Mr. Champagne's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
30 days confinement in the Jefferson County Jail.
Mr. Champagne, the state is offering in this case that you serve 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You will be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law. Mr. Champagne, there's court costs in this case of $327. Mr. Champagne, would you be able to pay the court cost of $327?
No, sir.
Okay, Mr. Champagne, I have a copy of your affidavit of indigency that was signed on June 21st of 2021. And I guess I'm looking at someone put a notation that I guess it's just 0. So Mr. Champagne, on your affidavit of indigency, you have no income and no assets, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And you have no expenses, is that correct as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Champagne, I will find that you are indigent. I will also find that your pleas and waivers were, well, I will, and because we are finding that you're indigent, the court cost of $327 will be waived, and that's pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, and that the court is finding that you're indigent. Now, let me repeat this to you again. Now, Mr. Champagne, the state is offering that you serve 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for any time that you're entitled to get by law. The court costs in this case of $327 will be waived, which means you will not have to pay it because the court is finding that you are indigent pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Now, Mr. Champagne, do you understand the state's offer and the court's order?
Yes, sir, I do.
And do you think that it's fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you've entered into with the state and with the findings that has been made by the court of your indigent status and the waiver of the court costs in this case. And your punishment is assessed at 30 days, Jefferson County Jail, and you'll be given credit for any time that you're entitled to get by law. Mr. Champagne, this will conclude your case. Please follow the bailiff. And Mr. Champagne, you have a blessed day.